Growing up, I always knew I had anxiety from when I was a little girl. I always had a lot of trouble sleeping at night, so I would have like bad habits that I would do, like checking the stove and checking the locks, and then that helped me sleep because I always just felt I always just was nervous to sleep, and I always had that sort of anxiety. So from that point on, I always knew that I had that I was a little bit different, that I had more anxiety than the average person. When I was 16 is when I was diagnosed with OCD, anxiety and depression. And I feel like the way OCD works is it's just basically you have unwanted thoughts in your mind that don't go away. And it causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of panic. And what people do when people have OCD, they tend to have compulsions because those habits and those repetitive behaviors help you help the anxiety to go away temporarily. But ultimately, I just feel like it's definitely an issue with control and like a fear of uncertainty. So when I was in high school, I developed a fear of germs. And at first it just started out with me just washing my hands for like 5 minutes. But then eventually it started taking over my life, the thoughts, and the compulsions got stronger and stronger. I had to do more compulsions in order for the anxiety to go away. So I found myself just being in the bathroom for up to an hour or maybe more, just washing my hands, and it just got so severe. When I was in college, I started obsessing about religion, but particularly like sin. I just focused so much on it. I felt that I had to be a perfect person to even talk to God and to even pray. So every time I had a thought that I thought was sinful, I felt really guilty, and I felt like I had to pray immediately and over again, because I felt like if I didn't say it a certain way, or if I didn't feel genuinely enough about the prayer, that I wasn't good enough, that God wasn't hearing it. Like, it made me have a hard time really understanding who God was. So when I was in college, I joined a Christian organization called CRU, which stands for Campus Crusade for Christ. And I remember the first time I was going there that I was really nervous and anxious to see what it was all about. But when I went there, the first thing I noticed was that everyone was just filled with joy, and they had so much peace. I always remembered thinking, like, how come I'm so sad? Like, I wanted to be like them, to find that joy and contentment. So that's what really kind of drew me in. And then I remember just reaching a point, I was in Bible study and I was really depressed, and my anxiety, my OCD was just still very heavy and present in my life. So I opened up to them, and I like broke down in Bible study, and I told them about my OCD, about my anxiety. And there's always a stigma with mental health, so I was just worried about what they were gonna say. But they just like accepted me and loved me, and it was like the most amazing experience, because I never felt like that unconditional love. And I made like really good friends who would knock on my door and just make sure that I would get out of my dorm and hang out, because they knew that I needed to be around people. I remember I got a care package from my church, and they gave me a verse, and it was Proverbs 3:5-6, which said, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." And I remember holding on to that every day, and I read it every single day, because I didn't understand what was going on with me, with my anxiety, with my OCD. I didn't know how it was going to go away, because to me every day seemed hopeless. But I held on to it because it was truth. And so my mind was filling me with, lies about who God was. And but every time that I read his word, it spoke truth to me. So I held on to that. And just being around my friends, witnessing God's love through people, just really made me realize that I could trust in him. And so I just remember being in my dorm and being overwhelmed by that. Just looking at myself in the mirror and just saying, what am I doing to myself? God doesn't want me to be trapped and to feel like guilt over sin, because he freed me. And so it was just a really like a time that I just spent by myself, just sort of taking it all in and just realizing like what the gospel truly was. And that's just that Jesus came to save me, and that there's nothing that I can do to earn that salvation, but he did it anyway, and it's a gift. And I have to like accept it, because I was guilting myself, feeling that I needed to be perfect. And that was like destroying my relationship with God. And so from that point on, I just decided, no, each and every day every time I have an obsessive thought, every time I feel that I need to pray compulsively or do some form of ritual to feel better, I'm gonna not do it. I'm gonna take action and trust God and trust who he is. And that's what I did. And it was hard, because I got a lot more anxiety attacks, a lot more panic attacks doing that. But over time, I got better and better. I still have anxiety, I still have moments with depression, but each and every time that I've gone through it, I've gotten stronger. And even though I've gone through a lot of pain, what I've gotten out of it, a stronger relationship with God and knowing who He is, experiencing His grace and His love, has just made it all worth it to me.